Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta, and we're going to complete our fall tour this evening. We've invited into studio members of the volleyball team along with head coach Colleen Cashman. So if you join me after the break, I'll be joined by tonight's first two guests.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is head volleyball coach Colleen Cashman and senior Cassie Abdo. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hello, Geoff. How are you?
Good. How are
Good.
things going?
They're going well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're in the midst of a pretty good season right now. We're playing pretty well, and of course we'll have two other seniors on the show tonight. Why don't you talk a little bit about this year's group and maybe about these three players in particular?
Well, we have our three seniors, Cassie Abdo, Casey Baburka, and Brittany Calvello. And, you know, we've talked in the past about the rarity of the four-year players. And they're all three of them four-year players, came in, and I think they're in a unique situation because when they came in as freshmen, we happened to have the smallest group that I've had in my tenure here with 11 players on the team, and now this year they're leaving us with the second most we've had in my tenure of 18 on the team. So they've kind of gone from, you know, 11, it's just us playing, you know, like not too many, you know, much competition amongst the team, to now 18 on the floor. And, you know, it's really, I think, this year created some good, healthy competition, you know, when we're playing in our practices and everything.
Right.
So
Now, Cassie, why do you think it might be a rare thing nowadays to have maybe a four-year athlete?
A lot of it is time commitment. People don't realize, you know, the dedication that you have to give, even for Division III. You know, it's school, it's practice, it's trying to keep yourself healthy so that you can perform for both and just staying on top of all of it.
Now, what do you think it's been for you that's been able to make you, you know, stay with the team and stay with the program? I mean, you're quite busy on campus, so what do you think it is for you?
It's probably the love of the sport. I mean, I think I can speak for all three seniors that, you know, we stuck it out because we love playing volleyball, and, you know, it has its ups and downs, but I mean, when you have your ups, they're really good, and it's good to have that group or the family type feeling with them. Now,
with four-year players in your program, tell us a little bit about how that helps with incoming freshmen and transition between year to year, you know, just that consistency. Talk a little bit about having, you know, three seniors who have been with you for the long haul.
They know I think the first thing is they know the program. You know, like they've been able to go through it every single year. They know the expectations that are placed upon everyone on the team. And, you know, I think one of the neat things is that each group of seniors, you know, they all kind of try to come in as leaders on the team and just make a couple of changes within the team that help us with our team chemistry. And, you know, I think this year that's happened very well. You know, there's not as much, you know, if this is just through the grapevine hearing it, of course, but, you know, if somebody's late or somebody doesn't do something, it's not an automatic towel, you need to do this. It's more of a, okay, listen, this is the expectation, this is what you need to do in the future, and if you don't do it, then here's the penalty.
Now, through the years, have those expectations kind of matched with your expectations when you came into the program?
yeah, I mean, you come in as a freshman and it's kind of like everything's new and just everything is like overwhelming, and by the time you're a junior, senior, you kind of have control over it, and it's a matter of making things work, not just for you, but for everybody together. So
now, do you, within the team now, I mean, do you police the team? I mean, are you kind of looking out for everybody, making sure that they're doing the things that you expect as a team leader for us?
Yeah, I mean, upperclassmen and underclassmen both, you know, like, if you see something, you'll be like, hey, you know, just make sure that, you know, you hustle up to practice if you have class and you're going to be late, and it's not a big deal. You say it once and they understand, you know, team comes first in that situation.
Right. Now, as far as, you know, being a Division III institution, Division III student athlete, of course, you played yourself with quite a successful career down at Binghamton. Yeah, I mean, you had a great career, and certainly now you know what it was like to be a competitive student athlete. Those are the things that when you develop your program, try to impart on the players that we have in our program?
I would say yes, and I think, you know, not only from my experiences as a collegiate student athlete, but my experiences, you know, as a high school student athlete as well. But I always try to, you know, at least I think I do this, I always try to get the input from the team, you know, as far as what it is that they think is important, what it is that they want to do, you know, so that it's a blend of, you know, my expectations of continuing, you know, our team culture and the team traditions that we have, while at the same time, every year, I think, you know, some things change and some things are tweaked that make it their own, that they can then grab onto and be proud of that they did it, you know, each year.
Now, do you appreciate the fact that Coach will, you know, allow for some input and some feedback on how things are going?
Definitely.
Now, do you think that's important as a Division III student athlete? Because, of course, you know, we don't get scholarships and we're just playing for the love of the sport, as you mentioned. I mean, what does it mean to be a Division III student athlete, and especially here at Oneonta?
It's kind of, how do I put this? It's like, it's a privilege in a way, because it's like you're not being recognized by like TV for Division I sports or anything, but you are being recognized by like family and friends and like doing the things that you love and giving whatever you can give to make it like the best 4 years that you can.
Right. Now, a lot of the things that we do within our program, it's not just all about volleyball. I mean, certainly, you know, we're here to be students first, and academics always plays a big part. What kinds of things do you do within the volleyball program that emphasize, you know, the importance of getting an education while you're here?
Stress it all the time, you know, pretty much. You know, this year, you know, I found that there's been a few conflicts within our practice times where, you know, I've had various players on the team come up and say, I have to do this during our practice time. And, you know, this is the first year that it's been this prevalent. But, you know, in the past, I was just thinking about this the other day, you know, back when I first started, I would have been like, no way. Like, practice comes first, you're going to have to work it out with your professor and, you know, deal with it in that way. And now my immediate reaction is school comes first. If that's what you need to do, then, you know, just get to practice as soon as you can. And if you don't make practice, then, you know, try to make it up in another realm.
Right. Now, Cassie, you're majoring in?
Food service and restaurant administration.
And what are you hoping to do with that?
I'm looking to get into more of the restaurant bar industry, and it's the 24/7 business. It keeps me busy, and I like being busy with that kind of stuff.
Now, you like being busy. You say that you're involved in some other things on campus. Why don't you give us a flavor of some of the things that you're doing besides just volleyball and going to school?
A lot of my major involves, you know, hands-on experience, you know, working in the kitchen. I'm going through my practicums where we work in mills, Willsbach, dining halls, commissary, job course. It's just gain the experience, and I also hold a job off of campus as well, working at a restaurant, and it's just kind of doing whatever I can to.
Are there some groups on campus that you're involved with as well? Are there any campus groups that you're involved with? You're in our Student Athlete Advisory Council. You in the past?
In the past.
In the past,
yeah. I mean, those are things that are all great resume builders. I mean, how important is it for them to get kind of practical leadership opportunities while they're student athletes?
It's definitely really important. You know, I think we all talk about, you know, when you start going into the working world, the employers are going to look at the things that you've done during your college career, and it's not just going to be, you know, the academics of doing well that gets you the job or just playing volleyball. It is going to be that you can show that you're a well-rounded person by doing some of the other stuff, because that means you can manage well. Right. You know, I think it's hard. Like I know when I went to school, I wasn't involved in anything else either. You know, I went to school, I did my academics, and then I had volleyball, and that was it. And, you know, I think now there are more demands on our student athletes to make themselves be more viable, you know, in the workplace. And to do that, they have to do more things on campus. So I think it's just within the last couple of years that there's starting to be more of a shift of, as coaches to be able to say to, our players, listen, you need to start doing more than just volleyball because they're going to be looking for more.
Right. People have to start almost like their sophomore year to, look at internships and, what do I want to do afterwards? I mean, it really is career development. I mean, career development really is your 4 years of college. What are you doing to prepare yourself for what you want to do after?
Yeah, I think, Cassie's kind of selling herself short with not thinking of some things that, she does do. I mean, within the team realm, she's coordinating our Dig Pink t-shirt sales that's coming up now. She designs it. It's her third year in a row that you've designed it, or fourth? Third or fourth year that she's designed our t-shirt for that. She really does a good job of keeping on track, keeping the team on track with making sure that they get everything in on time, and that organizational piece that as a head coach, you look for your upperclassmen to be able to do some of that.
Right.
That stuff, plus our community service that we have done through the years. She's coordinated some of that.
How important as a student athlete? I mean, and I think Division III lends itself to maybe doing more of that. Mm-hmm. How important is that to you to be able to be involved in community service and giving back?
It's definitely something that is an advantage of being on a sports team. It gets you more involved with the community, and especially for people who aren't from Oneonta itself, it's a way to, kind of outreach to the town, see what's out there, more than just what's on campus.
Right.
So.
Now, talk a little bit more about the season. I mean, it's the community service and all that stuff is great. I mean, certainly we're having a winning season. What are we looking forward to, from the total season? I mean, what are your goals and outcomes that you'd like to see?
Well, our goals are always, and have been, to make the SUNYAC championship tournament and ultimately to win the SUNYAC championship. And, we've been working very hard for that this season. We started off, 12-2, and then the last couple weekends we've kind of hit a little road bump. But, we came into practice yesterday, and it was a great practice, and you wouldn't have known, that it was coming off a not so great weekend. And I think that speaks volumes of the mentality and the personality of our team of we're not going to give up. It's been a little rough, but we want to make ourselves better. And we've already in these 2 days have people coming in and doing some extra things, and I think that's what carries us through the season, and knowing that everyone has bumps in the road,
right,
and it's just how we handle it that's going to make us be successful in the end. That we've got all the talent, and as a team we're gonna do it, and we're gonna perform and be successful.
Now, are those things that you talk amongst the players on the team about? Hey, we didn't have a great weekend. Maybe we're a little disappointed, but we still have some time left here where we can kind of right the ship, they say. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you talk amongst the players to have to get to that point where you're trying to overcome a bump in the road and move on?
A lot of the time, like if we have an away tournament or something, we will, as a team, usually without coach, just because it's kind of like, all right, what did we see on the court and off the court, like from our point of view?
Okay.
And on the way home or at night before we go to bed, a lot of us will discuss, all right, well, maybe we need to penetrate on the block a little more next time. And if it's somebody in particular, we'll bring it up with them and be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea type thing. And it's just a very, very dedicated team this year. Like Cash said, a lot of the team members will go out of their way to work out on top of doing practices as well, so we can be the best that we can be.
Right. Now, as a coach, that's really what you're hoping for, that they kind of little proactive, self-motivated, self-starters. I mean, that's a life lesson in itself, that I'm sure you're pretty proud to hear someone say that as a four-year athlete, these are the things they're learning, and attribute that to good coaching.
You always hope it's good coaching,
well,
but I think that, it still comes down to, our team as individuals on the court and their trust of one another and the confidence that they have in one another, that they're going to get it done.
Right.
And this team, I know when we were in preseason tryouts, there was, I'll use the word trepidation about keeping 18, and we were getting some feedback as coaches of, well, are you going to keep 18 because that's an awful lot, and how are you going to get everyone playing time? And you know, throughout preseason, Coach Tuttle and I, you know, the chemistry that was within the team, you couldn't deny it, whether or not, you know, somebody was going to be on the floor all the time or not on the floor. And I didn't want to let anyone go for that reason. And I think that, you know, the laughter, I mean, it's a lot of fun. Even, you know, on the way home this weekend, bad weekend, but they're moving on already, you know, on the bus on the way home. And, you know, a lot of laughter and a lot of those bad jokes from whatever website that was. But, you know, it's those things that, you know, again, coming back to, you know, as a coach, you want your program to be successful. And as always, it's always that in wins and losses, but that's not always the case. You know, it's what other aspects. And, you know, my hope is always that when one of my players gets married, that their teammates are going to be there, and some of their teammates are going to be in their wedding. Sorry. Whew. But, you know, like that's the strength that's within teams, that, you know, that's where the success comes from, and that's where the winning comes from, because they are that tight. Right.
And it seems like, you know, over the history, it seems like volleyball's had that chemistry, and we certainly know that it does start at the top with the coach and the players that you get into your program. So certainly we know you have some great chemistry this year, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the way as we go forward here, and hopefully there's some postseason stuff ahead for the volleyball team.
Thanks, Jeff.
I'd like to thank you for coming by tonight.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank both Cassie and Coach Cashman for coming by tonight. And join me after the break, where I'll be joined by some more players on the women's volleyball team.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio are senior volleyball players Casey Boberka and Brittany Calvello. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming by. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Brittany.
I'm Brittany. I'm a senior setter from Gloversville, New York. I went to Broad Auburn Perth High School. It's my 4th year. Excited for it.
Yeah. What's your major?
I'm an early childhood education major.
Now, have you gone into your block yet, or have you done?
No, I do that next fall, actually.
Next fall. Okay. And what about you, Casey?
Well, I'm Casey. I'm a senior. I'm an outside hitter. I'm an art major. Hope to be in art education. Gonna go get my master's after this. More school.
Yeah, no, quite a. Now you're both interested in education. Certainly. What interests you most? Like why early? You know, why elementary education?
I think I just like little kids, like playing with them and obviously teaching them. But I'm not equipped for the older kids that talk back. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, I tell you, some of our best teachers should be down where they're young, so that they can get to them, you know, and start teaching them first instead of waiting. Right. Yeah. What about you? What interests you about education?
Well, I always loved my art teachers, and he always said, make sure you have all your passions in life. So mine are art and volleyball. So if I'm an art teacher, I can teach and then coach volleyball after. Right. Now, certainly, we know you're more than volleyball here, because you're certainly a standout. You're an All-American in track and field. I mean, what's it like, you know, just not to play one, because you're both the 4-year athletes, but, I mean, you play really 3 sports. I mean, it's 3 seasons, volleyball, and then you go right into indoor track and then outdoor track. I mean, what's it like to balance all that? It's been interesting. We've worked with it over the years. The first year was really rough, and then me and Cash got on more of a basis, I guess, each year, because we have a spring season for volleyball, and she's very adamant on me being a part of it, because volleyball is such like an internet sport, and I need to be there for spring, because we change so much on how we play and losing players and how we're gonna make up for that. So I definitely had to go to those practices and my lifting and my practice, because I'm a multi-sport. So it got a little hectic freshman year, but I've gotten used to it being busy and not having much time off. I mean, after volleyball, I usually get off till Thanksgiving, and then I start indoor. But I mean, it's put me through the rungs, but I mean, I think it helps me better for like after college.
Right.
Always being busy. Yeah.
Now,
Definitely.
you came in together, setter, outside hitter. I mean, certainly two of the main cogs in our, way we play and stuff like that. I mean, what's it been like to play together for 4 years? First, Brittany.
I think for any sport, it's hard to come in not knowing the players that you're going to be playing with. So it started off hard, just as any other sport, but the 4 years have gone by, and I think we've bonded so much, and on and off the court. So it's been rough at times, but that's for anyone. But we're doing
just
good.
Normal team things,
right?
And just getting
Girls.
along. And you know what I mean? But it's all good. I mean,
right.
Coach Cashman and Cassie talked about how, the family atmosphere and the team bonding stuff that you guys do, and all the things that you on and off the court. I mean, it's a long season. You start in late August, and then you got a preseason. It's 90 degrees out. You'd maybe rather be at the beach or something, and you're hitting, you're setting. I mean, it can be mundane and crazy, but for yourself, I mean, the communication that's built up over the 4 years. I mean, do you know where she's going to set it, or do you know what she's thinking all the time?
We're on the same page, especially with that. I mean, probably one of the things we've been at least on the same page with all 4 years is what we want out of our program here. Like, coming in, like, they didn't go to SUNYACs like year before we came, and they had like a rough time with that. And like right when we came in, we knew we both wanted to win. Like, we're very competitive people, so I mean, at least we've always been on the same page with that, and we've always been geared towards winning.
Right.
Like, we definitely always put like the team first. Like, we want to do that. We want to win.
Right. I was just going to ask that question. I mean, how does the competitive nature of yourselves as seniors on our team, I mean, how does that filter down and help the rest of the team?
I think it helps us in some ways, just because the freshmen may not know what to expect coming in. So if we give them that we want to win, go to SUNYACs, like win SUNYACs being the ultimate goal, it just gives them like fire to be successful in our season.
Right. Now, do you think that that's the same, as you work together? I mean, you're both leaders on our team. I mean, did you ever, when you came in as freshmen, did you ever think you'd be at this point as senior leaders in our program?
I hoped. I mean, I figured we would eventually play a bigger role than freshmen, getting to know everything. And I know with us and like the juniors, a lot of juniors that are leaders too, with all of us, like, practices have been more intense because we all come in focused. Like, if we start off strong, they do too. So it's like better, I guess.
So you guys, do you see yourselves as more lead by example or vocal?
I'm more of a vocal leader. I mean, I think a lot of people know that, but I don't not lead by example, but I'm more of a, like, talk it out. If I need to tell you something to do or to help you, then I'm going to say it to you, rather than just like backing up and having someone else have to tell you.
Right. Now, do you think that that just is natural because you're the setter? I mean, you kind of make things run out there more or less, right? This year, now when you came in, the system we play now, I don't know everything about volleyball. I've watched quite a bit of it, and I try to pick up things as we go along, but we run a 6-2 this year.
Yep.
But at some point we were only running a 6-1 because we really only had the one set.
5-1.
5-1. Okay, see. Now see, that's thank
Close.
you.
Yeah.
What are the differences? Because this year we do have another setter who can help out. Does that help us in the long run?
Yes, it does. A 5-1 would just be me setting and everyone else hitting, which I wouldn't be able to hit. But now we have Becca Horton, who is other main setter, and she does phenomenal. And she's more of like a positive, like every time give good feedback, and I'm more of a competitive spirit, so we balance out each other very well, and it gives me the opportunity to hit too, which is nice.
Right, because I noticed that, and you've had quite a few triple doubles, which is pretty hard to do in volleyball. I mean, it's like a triple double in basketball. I mean, you try to fill all the categories, and now you're both pretty strong all-around players. Is that the kind of player you wanted to be when you came in, or was it just all about just set me and let me hit it?
No, I wanted to be an all-around player, definitely. Going from high school was a little hard because I was a middle, so I didn't play back row ever. So coming in, that was a big step for me. Is like I had to be more focused on defense. Like, I couldn't play the first year because I just didn't have the experience everybody else had. So it took a lot longer for me to be all-around, but I wanted to always be an all-around player. Be on the court the whole time and be that vocal leader. Right.
Now, the two of you do have strengths in all, you're two very solid all-around players. How do you think that adds to the whole team when you have multiple players on the floor at the same time that can play defense, play in the back row, you know, be at the net blocking. I mean, what do you think that does for the rest of us?
It gives us a lot of diversity and a lot of different choices within our team. That like Casey can hit and also play back row is awesome because we may need a back row player at some time. So it's like versatility within our team and ourselves.
Right. Now, any particular, now serving. Serving is always, do you like, I just have to ask, do you like the rule where you can hit the net on a serve?
When it happens to us,
yeah.
you don't like it, but when we do it to other teams, we like it.
Yeah, it's almost, some people say it's almost a skill to be able to just get it over the net on a serve, because everyone on the other side is bracing for this, you know, rocket of a serve, and all of a sudden it'll be, boop, and then it'll just kind of fall over, which is, you know, to watch that, I think it's changed the game a lot.
Yeah, we never played with the rule that it couldn't touch the top of the net. So I mean, for us, it's like it's always been that way. So
you guys don't know any different. I mean, for me, where I, you know, the game was always you know, touch the net. It wasn't rally scoring. You know, you had to play to 15. Some of these matches went to 30 to not without rally scoring. I mean, some of the matches can be rather long. Do you like? Now again, you didn't grow up with the other type of scoring. I mean, what do you think rally scoring has done for the sport of volleyball?
I think it keeps everyone in like a competitive zone, because you know if you mess up or the other team messes up, someone's going to get a point. So you're always striving to get that next point and then just keep taking them.
And it is similar because you always had to win the serve back in the old day, and you couldn't score a point unless you got the serve. So like you said, I mean, every time there's a point scored, so you don't ever want to get too bad of a run where the other team, you know, runs off 4, 5, 6, 7 points. But of course, in rally scoring,
it happens.
Yeah, it does happen, but then it can go the other way too. Any highlights from your? I mean, you still have some time left here, but any highlights that you would pick about, you know, from being at Oneonta, being a student athlete here, you know, as we close here?
I don't think there's any specific highlights, just the whole thing has been such a fun ride. I mean, there's been ups and downs, obviously, but it's been such a positive experience that I never expected, so.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear, as you know, at Division III especially.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've learned so much from being with these girls and like playing and getting so used to each other. I mean, I've always been on a volleyball team, but we spend an enormous amount of time with each other, so like it's taken a lot of getting used to, but I can't knock what I've learned on the volleyball team. So
right, and we hope that someday you'll both go out and, like you said, you want to be involved in coaching and pass those lessons of how you played in college on to, and you certainly will be remembered for two of our finer volleyball players as you go. So we'd like to thank you both for coming on tonight, and we wish you the best of the luck the rest of the way. So
thank you.
Thanks very much. I'd like to thank all the members of the volleyball team for coming by tonight and talking on the show about their season and their careers here at Oneonta. And we'd like to remind you that you can follow the volleyball team and all our athletic sports on www.oneontaathletics.com. And we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next time on Inside Red Dragon Sports.